should do it because normally that's how I do it. So I'm gonna double check. To be honest with you, I'm gonna double check that this is live. So we're gonna do multiplication properties of exponent. Let me double check on here on Facebook to see if this is live and if this is being recorded. I think it is. So if you go to YouTube, you don't see me, please let me. It's live. So we're gonna do multiplication. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So I just want to make sure this is live. All right. Cool. Uh-oh. All right. So this was live on Facebook. Let's go, guys. If you're able to see me, let me know. All right, so let's do multiplication properties of an exponent. Multiplication. And the person who asked this question last time said either they had an exam coming. I can't remember what exactly she said. But let's go over it. And if you're not able to hear me or see me properly, let me know as well. So I think this should be a decent setup where you're able to see me. So multiplication properties of exponent of this marker is not doing its job. Exponents. And I should be writing a lot better than that because this is slappy. All right, so let's start with this. And sometimes, guys, some of those are like, it's like once you know the rule, it's easy to solve for them. It's easy to be able to solve for any problems, regardless how hard it looks. And man, you're welcome. So it's easy to solve any problem, regardless of how hard the problem looks. Let's go over some simple stuff. So the way that they tell us to do it is normally if you have, let's say I have 5 to the third, right? So you guys know this is the base. The 5 right here is the base, And then this is, what is this? This is the exponent. So you raise that to the third power. So what that really means is, so in math terms, it's 5 times another 5, which is 3 times, right? So 5 times another 5. And that's easy to recognize. Now, one thing that that we can do is, as we see here, if you have something raised to a certain power, it's just as simple as a positive power. It's as simple as multiplying this thing by itself multiple times. So if you have something to raise to a whole number, let's say 5 to the second or 5 to the 15th, is multiplying that thing by itself multiple times. That's just like we did here for 5. And every time that we have something that is raised to a certain power, all we need to do is saying, okay, this tells me this is the 5. This is the number that I'm going to multiply by itself. And the exponent tell me this, how many times I need to multiply this number by itself. How many? And that's simple as that. So the exponent tell me this is the number that I'm dealing with, and this tells me, the 5 tells me this is the number that I'm dealing with. The 3 tells me how many times I need to multiply that 5 by itself. So now let's start with things that are simple. So let's say that I had, and I'm gonna pick a different number, enough for 5, 6 multiplied by another 6. So if I didn't know, I didn't know anything about exponents, from the little bit that I just told you guys, if I have this 6 multiplied by another 6, it would be equivalent to 6 multiplied by itself 2 times. So what it says, the 6 tells me this is the base. This is the base. And the 2 tells me, okay, this is how many times I'm multiplying 6 by itself. Twice, 2 times. So now, welcome, Jerry. Rocky, welcome. So now if we had 7, let's say I had 7 here multiplied by itself, 7 times another 7 times another 7. So what would this be equivalent to? So if I multiply 7, I count how many times. So I said, okay, the base is 7. This is the number that I'm dealing with, 7. And how many times I'm multiplying 7 by itself? 4 times in this case. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Easy enough, right? Now, okay, so let's say, now let's switch gear for a little bit. So let's say I had, let's see, yeah, you can see the screen on Facebook only. Yeah, you can only see it on Facebook. I mean on YouTube and Facebook. So you won't be able to see it on TikTok because that I don't think they allow people to share screen yet, not yet. Same thing for Instagram. So you'll be able to see my face there, but that's why I keep telling you guys, if you want to see the screen, you gotta go to YouTube. You gotta go to YouTube and see the screen. So just go to YouTube and type the Jax Tutor. It should come up. All right. So now let's do this again for another number. So let's say we have, and this time we're gonna arrange it differently. This time we're gonna have 8, for example. 8 multiplied by 8, and we're gonna go really, really far with this. And then I'm gonna have 3 8s here, 3 of them here. So now, if I want to know what this whole thing is equal to, right? Even though they are at different, thank you, Muzz, Gabby, welcome. Lexus, welcome. So even though they are really, really far apart from each other, as long as I have a multiplication here in the middle, I can say this is 1 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means it's 8 to the 5th power. Now, that's easy enough, right? So here's another thing that we can say. This is 8 to the 2nd, correct? And this one right here is 8 to the 3rd. Now, tell me, guys, did you see something that you see always here in your book, right? We like if you can see it here, you can almost come up with the rule by yourself. You didn't even have to study it in the book. So what I just wrote down here is saying that, okay, if I have 8 to the 2nd multiplied by 8 to the 3rd, that gives me 8 to the 5th. And it doesn't come, it just comes from like common sense stuff that we see. So I put 8 2 times on one side and then put it multiplied by itself 3 times on the other side. So what that tells me is if I multiply this group by this group, I get 8 to the 2nd multiplied by 8 to the 3rd, which is 8 to the 5th. And that's what the law, the law of exponents, multiplication properties of exponents tells you, is saying, okay, if I multiply 2 numbers with the same base, all I have to do is add up the exponents. Now, so all I did here, I say this is equivalent to, and I'm going to change color here for no reason at all, 8 to the 2nd times 8 to the 3rd is 8 to the 5th. So what they did is they take that 2 and they added to this 3, which is 5. So 8 to the 5th, 8 to the 2nd, multiplied by, and I'm just going to rewrite that, by 8 to the 3rd is 8 to the 2 plus 3. And what is 2 plus 3? Is 8 to the 5th. Now, knowing this, we can do, knowing this, we can do, Sukiya, I see you. Knowing this, we can do a lot more stuff, right? We can do a lot more stuff. So anytime that we have an exponent, we have a number with the same, 2 numbers with the same base, all we need to do to multiply them is just add up the exponent. So as long as we know how to add the exponents, multiplying 2 numbers of the same base is not hard. Now, I'll give you some tricky examples, but before we do that, let's see if you guys are paying attention. So let's say that we have 4 to the 3rd multiplied by 4 to the 7th. So now what would that be equal to? What would that be equal to? 4 to the 3rd multiplied by 4 to the 7th. And if you're in the chat, you can answer here if you're part of the chat. If you're able to see the screen and you're in the chat, you can just answer from there. You don't have to, you don't have to wait for me to raise your hand. So what would that be equal to? 4 to the 3rd multiplied by 4 to the 7th. What would that be equal to? Maddie, welcome. Bella, welcome. Remus, welcome. Can I see the question? Yeah, that is it should be on the screen. Are you able to see the screen? I think you should be able to see the screen because I went on Facebook and saw it earlier. If you're having trouble seeing the screen, let me know. Hey, Kaylee, welcome. Hey, how you doing? If you're having trouble seeing the screen, uh, is that how you pronounce your name? Kabir? If you're having trouble seeing the screen, you just go on the Bryson, welcome. If you're having trouble seeing the screen, you should okay. Oh, the chat is just delayed. Yeah, it probably is. Um okay, so what is, we have 4 to the third times 4 to the seventh, and we're gonna do exactly what we did to come up with the formula. We're just gonna go backwards. So what we're gonna do is saying, okay, let me group this over here on this side, and let me not make this long. I'm gonna need some space. Let me group this on this side as 4 to the third, and I need to move this a little bit. So I'm gonna group this to the left side as 4 to the third, and which is what? A 4 multiplied by another 4 multiplied by another 4. Easy enough, right? 4 to the third. Now, okay, I grouped this by itself, and I'm going to group this, and it's going to take me a while, but I'm also going to group this on that side, and I'm going to write it in a different color for no reason at all. 4 multiplied by 4 7 times, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, how many 4 do you guys see here? No, I meant you don't have to do it in the calculator. I meant I really meant for you to tell me what the answer in terms of exponent. Easy enough. Now you don't have to do it in a calculator. Usually they won't tell you to put that in a calculator. They just, especially if that's what the question is about. So how many 4 do we see here? There's 3 on this side, and if I can count, well, 3 plus there are 7 on the side, 7. So we see 10 4s, 10. So 10 of them. So how do we know? So what does that equal to in terms of exponents? Is 4 to the 10th. So it's 4 multiplied by itself 10 times, which is 4 to the 10th. And this gives us, this is aligned with the rule that we started with, saying that if I have 4 to the third, and I need to multiply that by 4 to the seventh, all I have to do is add the exponents, right? 3 plus 7 is 10. That's it. So I think we solved this. So now here's some tricky part. You can possibly have those same questions with different powers. So if you need to see the screen, guys, on Instagram, you go to YouTube and type the Jack Student. I don't think the YouTube link is on Instagram, but if you want to see the screen, go to YouTube. You'll be able to see it. So now sometimes you get questions like this, but the exponents are a little bit different. They're not positive exponents, they're like negative. So what we're going to do here is saying, let's see if we can solve some stuff that are looking, a little bit different. Let's pick a number 6, for example. 6. So let's say we have 6 to the negative 3 multiplied by 6 to the 7th. Now, here's the deal. Because we already know the rule, all we have to do is just apply the rule. It doesn't say it only applies to positive numbers. It says if you have 2 numbers with the same base, you multiplying them, all you have to do is keep the base and add the exponent. So I'm going to keep the base, which is 6. Now I'm going to add the exponents, negative 3 plus 7. And that gives us 6 to the 4th power, right? All right, guys. Any question? 6 to the 4th. Cool. All right, let me see. Yes, good job, Keon. Good job. So yeah, that's how you do it. And I can't remember who asked the questions about exponents, and this is how you would do them. All you need to do is just know how to add the exponents. Get them together in a form that you can add the exponents. Sometimes things might look a little bit tricky. For example, they might give you might have to apply many rules of exponents before, they might give you something like this. And then they give you something like this. So you might have to multiply to apply the rules of exponents, multiple rules of exponents to come up to the answer. But the multiplication part is all it is. Common sense. So let me recap what we did. So in order for us to get to the answer that we wanted to come up with an explanation that works for us, so all we did, Emily, welcome. All we did, we started by saying that, okay, if I have 4 multiplied by itself 3 times, it's 4 to the 3rd power. So all I have to do is just count how many 4s, and then we get to a point where we have a set of numbers multiplied by themselves, however many times on the left, and the same set of number multiplied by itself, however many times on the right. And then we wanted to multiply these two groups together. So all we needed to do is saying, okay, all I have to do is just count how many of that number I have, which is the base of the exponent. So which is the base. So what we did is multiply. Okay, we added those two numbers. If it was 6 to the 4th on the left and 6 to the 15th on the right, we added 4 plus 15, and we keep the base, which is 6. And that's how you do all of those. And then after that, we went into negative numbers. Negative numbers is the same way. So all you have to do is saying, okay, I have that exponent. I just got to keep the base 6, and I add the exponents together. And it can get more complicated, but in basically, this is what you can get if you multiply numbers with the same base and you want to get to an answer. And guys, any questions? Any questions about what we just did? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, if I don't see questions, guys, I think I'm gonna end it here. If I don't see any questions about what we just did specifically, I'm just gonna end it here. Next time, I'll show you guys what's coming. If you can see the screen. Okay, we have some more stuff to talk about. This was the most, I guess the most important question that we had in terms of people. I think the person who asked the questions was taking an exam or a test or something like that. She wanted some review on it. Next time we have domain and range. We also have 30, 60, 90 triangles, and we also have some stats questions and some questions about sine and cosine. So next time we come, we'll pick one of those and then we'll answer it. And that will be it. So every time we come, we'll pick one of those, we'll answer them, and then later on, what we're gonna do is just go to the drawing board and get some more questions from you guys, and so that we can answer them. That's it. So I think this is it for tonight, and I appreciate you guys stopping by, and y'all have a good night, and thank you all for coming up. Emily, thank you for stopping by. Drip, thank you. But all right, guys, this is it. This is it for tonight, and you guys have a good night. Thanks.